Hi friends, Mindy here. I'm here for the third installment of this junk journal process. After the last video, I did go back and add a few things, some pockets and some tuck spots and different things. I didn't figure you would needed to see me glue everything down that I did for that. So I will be doing a little bit of ephemera in this video so you can kind of see the pockets and stuff that I created. So I used some Tim Holtz paper here in this little corner, and I have a little tag tucked in there. This was some more Tim Holtz paper that created a pocket. You can just kind of see some of the different pockets here. This is a file folder that I had in my stash. I'm just going to add a Tim Holtz journaling card in there. I will need to trim that down and probably put some backing on there so that it can fit on this page, and also I want to make sure that there's some writing space. So that's what I'm going to do here. I realize this process is kind of difficult because it's kind of intuitive and I'm just going back and forth a lot. So I'm sorry if it feels kind of scattered, but this Tim Holtz journaling card, I started out with just trimming it down to the size that I wanted it, and then I just rounded the corners where I had cut it off because the other corners were rounded. I did distress ink this a little bit. I actually use archival ink in ground espresso, and the front is beautiful, but I just feel like the back is just, there's not going to be a good way to write on the back of that. And so I'm going to put some pattern paper back there that's just a real faint pattern because I feel like you can write over that pretty well. So I just glued it down. I'm going to ink around the edges and I cut it out. That way it just has a backing on there that, so you can actually use that as a journaling card. And of course you can journal on the page behind it. And then this creates a little kind of pocket here on the left side for this tall skinny tag that we created in one of the other videos. I'm just going to tuck that in, and I will decorate that pocket up a little bit. I have this really wide washi tape, and so it's beautiful. I just want to take part of it, this part that has some of the yellows and greens on it. So I'm just going to tear this and kind of just tear it down to get the section in there that I want. Obviously it was really wide, so I'm just going to leave that there just as a little embellishment there. I have this pocket that I created, a couple of these in this journal, and I have a reel, and I have, I think, a YouTube short on how to fold these pockets. This is just folded out of some old book paper, and I'm going to add a Tim Holtz journaling card in there. You can kind of see there's several pockets in here. At this point I thought I was just going to use two of them. In the end, I end up adding some other things to this, but you can kind of see I'm just tucking a journaling card. This is some Tim Holtz ephemera in there, as well as some ephemera from the kit from 49 and Market. And then I have another tuck spot, but this one is up at the top in the right-hand corner. And so this postcard that I have that I had created previously is going to fit really well on this pocket. This was that mulberry paper. I added a little frame, and then I'm going to use this beautiful paper that I had in my stash that has just, the colors just coordinate really well. It's actually feathers, but I think it works okay. And then that will just be a huge journaling card that kind of tucks inside that pocket. And that little like Polaroid frame or like specimen frame or whatever, that was actually a 49 and Market piece. So you just saw me with that tag just kind of cutting the edges up at the top, and then I'm just going to distress around all of the edges and leave that in there for now. I added some trim on that Braille paper. Here's another Tim Holtz journaling card, and I feel like you can write on that one. I do want to create a little bit of interest down here in this pocket, though, on the right side. So I'm using a little scrap piece of paper from that that same pattern paper, and then I'm going to use this little like fake postage stamp that I have that just I just felt like it coordinated really well. So I'm gluing down that little strip of paper. I just kind of tore the edges just to kind of anchor my little stamp here, and then I am adding some glue on the back of the stamp. Now this stamp is technically a sticker, but they're not like the stickiest of stickers. So I did add some glue just to make sure that that doesn't come up. And then I have this butterfly. This is a Tim Holtz, I believe, butterfly, and so I'm just going to kind of make a little cluster down here in this bottom right hand corner. I just wanted to add a little bit of color down here, so having that yellow butterfly just kind of helped bring everything together. I did ink the edges of that journaling card as well, and this part right here is going to drive me crazy. I will have to do something about that, so I'm pulling, this is one of those Tim Holtz collage strips, and I'm just cutting out a little bit of the section of that I want. I didn't want to cover up this whole page. I wanted to leave some of the space to journal. Just added that to kind of cover up that bottom right hand corner that was making me crazy. And then moving on into this next signature, I have another pocket that I created with a Tim Holtz ephemera there. And then I have another one of those journaling cards, but this one's just a little bit too tall for this page because it's a shorter paper. And so I just, again, I trimmed it down, and I'm putting it on some coffee dyed paper this time to make sure that I have enough journaling space on the back of this card. It was another one that had kind of busy pattern on both sides. And then it's just going to tuck in there. And then I have this this other card. This is like a an invoice, and I just think it's so fun. This is a vintage piece, and so I'm gonna leave that in there. And then on this section, I have this little file folder that I added a doily to. I have this Tim Holtz postcard that I'm gonna add in there, and then I wanted to create even just a little bit of like hidden journaling. So I have this sticker. This was a Your Creative Studio sticker that looks like, you know, torn paper or just kind of aged paper. So I'm just adhering that in there. And then another Tim Holtz journaling card. This one has lines on the back, so it'll work really well. And then I'm just going to hold that closed with one of these little mini paper clips. This is actually one, I believe, from Felicity Jane, but I think, you know, Tim Holtz obviously has them too. And then on the back side, it's just going to create a tuck spot for a tag that I'm just going to kind of stick in here. And I will get to decorating all of these, for I'm just kind of trying to find a home for everything and make sure that all of the pockets in here have something in them. And so here I created a journaling card out of that same beautiful pattern paper, and just tuck that in there. I'm going to need something in this pocket as well. And I have this tuck spot here. I've added another Tim Holtz piece. I added some more washi there. And then I have this pocket in the back that I am going to add some other things to. And at this point, I realized this video was going to get too long if I tried to show you everything. So I'm going to just do a flip through now. I realized as I was recording all of the process of kind of some of the pockets and things, that if I was to record all of that process, this video would just be so super long that there was no way, no way to be able to post it. So what I did is I just kind of cut off the camera, and I'm just going to do a flip through and kind of walk you through everything that I have done. This journal is now complete. I will be putting it up for sale. I have a sari silk binding on the outside. Right now I just have it loosely tied around here. You could certainly, if you wanted it more permanent, thread it through these strings here if you didn't want to. But I know sometimes, like when I'm working in a journal, I like to be able to take this off because otherwise it just feels like it gets in my way. That's personal preference though. So I'm just going to untie this and we'll walk through all of the bits and pieces. So again, this is that image that kind of inspired the whole journal. I have this belly band. I've just added this is a vintage book page image. And this was one of the 49 and Market cards. I just tucked that in there because it had the lines on it already. So I just felt like that was a really good journaling spot. And I'm sorry if I'm repeating things from, you know, earlier in the video, but it was just easier to do it this way. So coffee dyed paper, over here I just have a little tag tucked in, and I have some ribbon just stapled to the top of that for like a little pull. And I did try to add just a little bit. I didn't want to add too much. This is one of the pockets that I had added off camera. And then I have these two journaling cards that I just felt like went really well in there. And this one was just this dark green, and I had this butterfly in my stash that was from some vintage paper, and so I just thought that would be cute. So I have two little journaling cards tucked in here. This journal has a lot of room to write, which is kind of my goal when I created it. So I have some washi tape here. I created this pocket, and then I used some of the 49 and Market. This was like one of the big papers, but it's really thick, and so it's just white on the back, but it'll make a good journaling spot. And then this is a vintage book image that I just cut out and glued down just to bring a little bit of the color around. This is just some more of that trim. This is just some Hobby Lobby trim that I just have glued down just for a little pop of color. I have this little tuck spot, I just added a couple of things to it, and then in here I have just a Tim Holtz journaling card. I liked this one because it had all the lines on the back already, so I think that will be good, and you can still tuck things into this journal as you want to. As also, I did want to keep it so that there was enough room that you could still decorate and add things and, you know, make it your own. So with this little file folder that I have tucked on the side, I have a Tim Holtz. This was actually a really tall, skinny, like journaling spot. And I just trimmed it down, and then I added this paper on the back so that you could be able to write on it. And this is a vintage book page image as well. And then over here, this is one of the tags that we made, I think in the, I want to say it was like the first video. And then I just added a couple things to this, and then this gives you writing space here, and on the back of the tag you could even write on the little file folder if you wanted to. This little pocket I have tucked, I decided to go ahead and add in another little tag. So I have a tag here in the back. Because it has so many pockets, you can kind of get away with this. So I have this tag in the back, and then I have, this was, I believe this is either a Tim Holtz, or I believe it's Tim Holtz. And so you can kind of see this one tucks right in here. And then these little pieces just kind of tuck in this little corner spot here. You could certainly glue this down even so that it could create even another pocket. I just didn't do that, but I do have a Reels video for this, and I think I did a shorts on here on YouTube as well. This is just one of that journaling card that I have. This was created a while back, and I just found a good place for it here in this little tuck spot up here in the corner. And then this is another one of the 49 and Market images. I just felt like it looked good right there. A lot of room again for journaling. Here I created this little tag as well. This is actually from some scrapbook paper, and then I just felt like the colors went really well with this. And then I added, this is actually a tab, like a label punch, and I just folded it in half and stuck it on the top there. I added a little bit of trim to this Braille paper. And then this is a Tim Holtz journaling card. And then I just did a little cluster down here in this corner. And then I added this. This was actually a Tim Holtz, one of those collage strips. And I needed to cover up this little bottom section down here. It was just driving me crazy. And so I just trimmed down a little section of that journaling because I didn't want to lose all of this. And I didn't want to cover up the lines here because I felt like that was just kind of ready-made journaling space. So I just trimmed that down and just stuck it right here on the edge, just to cover up what was there, and then just bring a little bit of color to that as well. And then into the second signature, very much the same. I have this little, this is actually a postcard. This was from the 49 and Market papers, and it just slides in there. I added one of those clear stickers. This was from Your Creative Studio, I believe. And here I have this Tim Holtz piece that I glued on as a tuck spot, and then I have a Tim Holtz journaling card, and I like this one because it says chrysanthemums on it. And then I just backed this with some coffee dyed paper, just so it would be easier to write on. The back was kind of busy. And then I have some more of that trim here. And then this pocket, I wanted to include these. I just thought this was so fun. This little invoice kind of thing. And so I just added one little sticker here, and then on the back you can use that for writing space since it's lined. And this pocket, I included this journaling card in there. I felt like that went well there. This is some vellum that I had. This was also from Your Creative Studio. And I just added this Tim Holtz postcard on there. So that's a Tim Holtz image there. And then I added a doily to this file folder, and it's being held in place, kind of closed on this side with this little clip. You can just slide it out really easy. And then this is one of those tall journaling cards, but it has all the lines on the back. So it's just a lot of writing space. You can write on the back of that. You can write on the back of on this. And then I forgot to show, I actually created a little journaling spot there as well, just out of a sticker. So you can have some hidden journaling there if you want to as well. And then I'm just kind of keeping it all closed with this little clip. I'll go back and put that on later. And then on this side, I did a little tuck. I created the back side as like a little tuck spot. So I have a Tim Holtz journaling card, and then I have one of the tags that I had created. And then this tuck spot that's kind of up at the top, I have another one of those postcards. This is cut from the 49 in Market paper. I think that was 49 in Market paper. That might actually be Stamperia paper. I can't remember. Anyway, basically like scrapbooking pattern paper. And then I have another journaling card here. This is just out of that same paper. I added a couple things just to dress up the front, and then just left the back so that there's a lot of good writing space back there. And then of course you can use the dot grid on this paper to write as well. Another tuck spot, I just added a little bit of trim, and this is a Tim Holtz image, and this is a Tim Holtz journaling card, again with a lot of lines on the background. And I just have this tucked so that you can kind of see that yellow. I just think that's really pretty. And let's see, there's another tuck spot here. This is another Tim Holtz like postcard image, some more trim, and then I just added some of that really wide washi tape that I had that I tore down because it was just, I mean, it was really, really wide. And then in this last pocket, I did the same thing where I added a little skinny tag that has a book page image on it. I have a journaling card here, a little library card, and then just a couple little things tucked in this little pocket here. And that is everything. So thank you for coming along on this journey making this journal. I hope it was helpful to kind of see the process. Let me know if you're interested in purchasing this journal. I am going to be listing it on my Instagram as well. If you liked this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.